Once I built an ivory tower so I could worship from above. When I climbed down to be set free, she took me in again. There's a big hard sun beating on the big people in the big hard world. When she comes to greet me, she is mercy at my feet. Yeah, when I see her pin her charm, she just throws it back at me. Once I dug an early grave to find a better land. She just smiled and laughed at me and took her blues back again. There's a big hard sun beating on the big people in the big hard world.
So what is your technical position with East Belfast Mission, and what does that involve?
Technically, my job title is Youth and Children's Development Worker, which, as far as I know, involves developing youth and children's work as we work towards SCANOS. So really trying to look at what are the core elements of youth and children's work which we need to focus on, building on a good platform such as a Fusion or a React kind of situation, but then trying to expand that and develop that as the church grows, as the SCANOS unit grows, and as the whole East Belfast Mission vision comes to fruition, I suppose.
What have been some of the challenges for your work this year as East Belfast Mission is without a building, and what are some of the things that you're looking forward to bring about when SCANOS is completed?
I think the biggest challenge is having no building. So whilst we use Conswater Community Centre, whilst we use different places around about the area, it's a real issue trying to have a base, where it's very much important for youth and children to have a base somewhere where the kids are at, where teenagers are involved in and really become part of. So that's been a big issue, and it's the biggest thing looking forward to is having your own sports hall, your own rooms, your own facilities to actually run more programs, but actually then to be able to build a kind of sense of community and a sense of family, I suppose, with young people.
Having been here for a short while, what have you found is one of the most pressing needs for the community of the Inner East in regards to children and youth work? Have you found there's...
Yeah, I think you have the obvious needs of, you look at a teenager and you think, well, they're any social, they have drug and alcohol problems, they have confidence problems, but from my experience I think probably the biggest issue is their sense of hope and expectation and potential in their lives. So I think most of the young people I ever work with, and the children at EBM as well, and why we exist, is trying to really figure out how do we give them an increased sense of hope, and how do you awaken a sense of hope in their lives. I think back to my own childhood and teenage years, and the value that youth leaders had for me, and the love they had for me through difficult times in my life, and I think that really impacted me. And I suppose I left school, I was very involved in kind of an voluntary capacity with different youth projects in and around Newton Ards and the Bangor area, did a wonderful geography degree, and after finishing that really thought that youth and community work was the kind of work I wanted to get into. So and from that, I suppose from being directly involved in that work, I've developed, I suppose, an increased passion and awareness as to what we're actually doing. So for me, it's about what keeps me going is journeying alongside young people, being involved in their lives, not just running a kids club or a church program for them just to come to, but actually being involved in their lives, knowing them, being their friend as well as their leader, but actually just spending time with them. And it's not an easy job, but it's a real privilege of a job to be able to just be paid to spend time with young people. One of the things that really appealed to me in coming to East Belfast Mission in the first place was how well it kind of married the kind of church aspect of life and community life, and being in the midst of a messy area, I suppose, was really exciting. So I suppose for why we do youth work then is really getting our hands dirty and getting involved with children's lives, with young people's lives, with their parents' lives that are messy and complex. And the thing I find most exciting is really trying to aid some sense of exploration of faith in life. First and foremost, before anything else, youth work is all about relationship, and it's about my relationship with my leaders and volunteers, to your relationship with the church, the community, parents, kids, young people. It all comes down to relationship. And you look at models of youth work today and in the Bible, how Jesus and the disciples, work with people. It was all about relationship. It was about eating together, being together, and just being in each other's faces quite a bit, like that thing.
If there is one thing that you wanted the congregation to know about Youth and Children's Work at EBM, what would it be?
One thing I want them to know would be that we need their help, that youth work isn't a community thing that East Belfast Mission, an organisation, does, but it's actually the organisation and the church that lives and breathes this stuff. And EBM, for me, from what I've seen, is based on a church congregation. We really value the prayerful support, the financial support, the time support and investment that people give in the church, but I would just encourage them to think about what their role is in contributing to the lives of a child or a young person, that it's not a set of leaders, or it's not my responsibility to do this. It's actually the church. It's part of our call as East Belfast Mission to all be involved in this. So I would encourage them to pick up the phone and give me a shout and get involved.
When I go to cross that river, she is comfort by my side. When I try to understand, she just opens up her hand.